Good morning. Thank you for joining us today as the Georgia Health Sciences community and the Augusta community welcomes Governor Nathan Deal back to our lovely city. First, I'd like to recognize a number of individuals, members of the Georgia General Assembly, Major D. Copenhaver, and members of the Augusta Commission and Richmond County Government, Chairman Ron Cross, members of the Columbia County Commission and Columbia County Government, congressional staff liaisons, members of multiple state boards and authorities to include the Georgia Department of Transportation, the Georgia State Properties Commission, the Georgia Board of Physicians Workforce, the Georgia Medical Center Authority, the Technical College System of Georgia. Members of multiple boards and advisory committees for the Georgia Health Sciences Enterprise, its health system, as well as its university. Representatives of our local chambers of commerce. Finally, President Bill Bloodworth, colleague and friend who we're working very hard together to bring two universities together. Also want to recognize Regina and Michael Bright, supporters of our cancer initiative here. We are honored, Governor, that you would take the time to visit us as you travel around the state to provide highlights of the 2012 legislative session. In fact, Governor, you've visited Augusta so often since your inauguration that we really consider you now to be Augusta's own. Governor Deal has been a tremendous champion of the Georgia Health Sciences Enterprise, noting in his 2012 State of the State address that, and I will quote, "Georgians deserve a world-class public medical university, and it will be a priority of this administration to have a medical college among the top 50 nationally." And that is a strong promise. And when the Governor Deal was with us in September for the ribbon cutting of our world-class College of Dental Medicine facility, he noted that the growing size of GHSU's dental class not only means better oral health for Georgia, it means better economic health for our state. We thank you, Governor Deal, for recognizing the great asset, the growing economic engine the citizens of Georgia have in Georgia Health Sciences University and its cooperative organizations. Governor, we are galvanized around your clear support of this university and this community. Your energetic support of our consolidation efforts with Augusta State to build really the next great American university here in Augusta, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming a leader who has embraced our community with a vision for the future, a visionary who is focused on better health for all Georgians, and a governor who is committed to excellence. Governor of the great state of Georgia, the Honorable Nathan Deal.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Dr. Aziz, and distinguished individuals and leaders here at Georgia Health Sciences University and Augusta State, and all of those who are here, students, faculties, elected officials. I am just honored to be with you this morning. And no, I do not have the answer to the burning question that is on the front of everybody's mind. I do not know what the new name is going to be. But I do think that it is a move in the right direction. We had a great legislative session this year, and I want to thank the members of the General Assembly that are here this morning. They all worked cooperatively, and we got a lot of good things done. We are on the beginning, and this is the first stop on a 2-day trip around Georgia. And I was asked the question, well, is this a victory lap that you're taking? And my response was, no, I'm not taking a victory lap. And then we got to talking about it, and it truly, though, is a victory lap for the people of the state of Georgia. Some great things were done this year, and some opportunities have presented themselves, and we have taken advantage of those opportunities. So I really do think that this legislative session was a victory for the citizens of our state. And I want to talk to you about a few things that we did. First of all, it was a short legislative session this year. And when a short legislative session occurs, that saves the taxpayers of this state money. Now, what you don't know is that we really did force them out of the Capitol. Within a few hours of the time they adjourned at midnight on that 40th day, we had a television studio set up on the main level of the state capitol. And they were filming what will be a new television series, I'm told, called Revolution. I don't think that had anything to do with what we were doing in the legislative session this year, but supposedly it's a television series that will be 20 years in the future after Armageddon. And it really did look like that. They converted it very quickly into a scene. And so we made money for the citizens of the state of Georgia by getting the legislature to go home and a television studio to be set up there and pay us a very substantial amount of money to use our state capitol. Secondly, they passed about roughly half the number of bills that have been passed in recent years. So for those of you who believe that we need less government in your life, there was about half as many intrusions by way of legislation. And I think whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent, or anything else in between, that all taxpayers win when they see that we can work across party aisles and accomplish the work of the people of this state. And I think that's truly what happened. So I guess it is a victory lap for the citizens of the state of Georgia. And we are trying to do what I said my theme was to do. And that is for state government to be as small as possible, but to be focused on doing a few things and do those exceptionally well. Now, here are a few things that we did. I think some of these are generational in their impact. One is a criminal justice reform package, something that many people said would not have been able to be achieved, but we did. Virtually unanimous vote in the General Assembly. When I took office, I told you that that was one of the things that I knew we had to focus on. Fully 1 out of every 13 Georgians right now, I'm told, is under some form of correctional supervision by the state of Georgia, with more than $1 billion of taxpayer money being expended for that every year. This is due to many things. One is an unacceptable high dropout rate from our high schools, something that you've just seen more evidence of in recent statistics, something that we've got to make a concerted effort to reverse. Secondly, low rehabilitation rates within our prison system and a high rate of recidivism. In fact, we are told that about 1 out of every 3 inmates who's pardoned now will be back in our system within 3 years. That is a revolving door that is very inexpensive and, quite frankly, is dangerous to the citizens of this state. So this year we took action legislatively to try to get better outcomes. We think those outcomes will result in safer communities all across our state. It will help us to rehabilitate nonviolent offenders with some $10 million, new dollars, being placed into accountability courts, which will afford us the opportunity to deal with individuals with addiction-type problems and other problems through DUI courts, drug courts, mental health courts, and a variety of other manifestations to meet the needs of a particular community. It'll help us, I think, also to tackle the inflated cost of a system that, quite frankly, is not producing the results that most people want. Because of a Supreme Court decision, a 4-3 decision, the issue of charter schools was before the General Assembly this year to allow the citizens of this state to express an opinion as to whether or not they want the option of another kind of public school, namely a charter school. I believe that strong schools promote competition and they encourage innovation, and that's one of the things we have to put into public education. They give parents, especially parents of children who are in underperforming schools, an option for a better way. Another major reform package was tax reform. You know, we talk a lot about tax reform, but rarely do you have occasion to actually bring it about. This year we did. We passed tax reform that is both pro-job and pro-family. For example, we passed legislation that will phase out the sales tax on energy used for manufacturing. We have lost manufacturing in this state, and that is one of the ways to make ourselves more competitive. We have eliminated the birthday tax on motor vehicles. So when your birthday rolls around after you come into the system beginning in March of next year, then you will only have to pay for your tag every year, and you will not have to pay that recurring ad valorem tax. We have tackled the personal income tax in terms of eliminating the marriage tax penalty where you have two working spouses, and we have made those changes. They will amount to about $140 million in tax saving for working couples in this state. We've raised the sales tax exemption on certain agricultural activities, which will be about another $17 million of savings. And remember, agriculture is still the #1 industry in the state of Georgia. We believe that all of these give us some tools, including placing money in our closing funds to be able to attract new jobs and expand job opportunities in our state. I have said that my goal is to make Georgia the #1 place in the country to do business, and it takes a lot of ingredients to be able to make that happen. And this does sound like I'm bragging, but I want to share these statistics with you because I think they're significant. Since I took office in January of last year, my departments tell me that we've had some 467 either new businesses or expansions of existing businesses with almost $5 billion of new capital investment and the creation of almost 30,000 new jobs. And we're building on that momentum. For example, let me give you a few. Home Depot and Lowe's have announced cumulatively that they will create about another 1,300 new jobs. And of course, Starbucks is going to be right here in the Augusta area with a manufacturing facility. Pyramax is going to be down in our Kaolin belt just south of here, and they're going to produce about 500 million pounds of ceramic beads that are used in the oil production process. Caterpillar, as you know, recently announced a new manufacturing facility over in the Oconee-Clark County area, some $200 million in capital investment, and will employ about 1,400 individuals when they are fully operational. And just last week, Baxter Pharmaceuticals announced a manufacturing operation in our state with an investment exceeding $1 billion. And when they are fully operational, they will have about 1,800 employees. Now, the budget is always something that our state constitution requires us to keep in balance, and we have done so. We think we have been able to restore some of the essential services and put more money back into certain areas of our budget. But this is something, if you believe in smaller government, let me share this statistic with you. When adjusted for inflation, we are spending the same per capita amount as we did in 1994. That is a significant downsizing of the cost of government. This modest growth that we have seen, and we have now seen a significant number of months of continual gradual acceleration of our state revenues, have allowed us to put more money back into education, both the pre-K and the higher education levels. In pre-K, we restored 10 days that we had to cut the previous year from our pre-K program, which will allow us to pay our pre-K teachers more money. Now, in doing this, we are also trying to concentrate and make sure our money is being spent in the right places. And I believe that one of the things we need to do a better job of is teaching children to read at grade level, especially before they leave the 3rd grade. Children that do not achieve that goal cost us a lot of money throughout their entire educational process. So in fiscal year 2013 budget that was just passed, we have $1.6 million new dollars for reading mentors. We have an additional $396,000 in the Department of Education for professional development focused on reading. At the higher education level, $94 million has been added for enrollment growth within the university system of Georgia, and $16 million has been added for our technical college system of Georgia. Our budget maintains the $20 million in the low interest, needs-based loan program for students who need to borrow money at a very low interest rate in order to pay for their education. And it also, of course, funds additional health professionals for our state, something I will talk to you a little bit about in just a minute. As of December, not only are we spending less money per capita than we did in a very long time, in December, the size of the state workforce is lower than it has been in 14 years. Since fiscal year 2008, the workforce has been reduced by 12.4% as we have attempted to downsize and streamline the functions of state government. In addition to that, we have tried to build up our so-called rainy day fund, our revenue shortfall reserve, and we have increased it by 183% over the past year. And I remain committed to making sure that we have additional reserves because we never know when the next economic downturn is going to occur. Specifically for you here in Augusta, our budget includes $28 million in bond funding to construct the Consolidated Medical Education Commons. Our budget this year, of course, is a conservative one. And by being conservative in our budget, we have maintained a AAA bond rating. We're one of only 8 states in the country that has maintained that. We calculated that just on last year's budget bond package alone, we saved about $11 million in interest to the taxpayers of this state by keeping that AAA bond rating. We know that we still have to do some things, but we're trying to spend your money wisely to make sure that we make the right strategic investments so that we can attract both job opportunities and private capital to come to our state. In that vein, the $28 million to construct the Consolidated Medical Education Commons right here at Georgia Health Sciences University will support the goals of this institution as well as the goals of the Board of Regents in general. By creating a state-of-the-art classroom for education for dental and medical students, we believe that it will support enrollment growth, which we anticipate will occur. In the bigger picture, it will do something that is greatly needed as we move forward. It will increase the number of healthcare professionals in Georgia. This building will play a key role in helping this institution achieve its 8-year strategic plan. It will allow you to become a partner of choice for colleges, universities, hospitals, and health systems around the state and the Southeast. It will allow you to boost innovative research. It will allow you to boost your influence in the biotech arena and also to provide the special clinical care for a region that is in great need of that. Simply put, this Medical Education Commons will have a lasting impact on the health of Georgians and on Georgia's economy. But we recognize that even though our state has spent a lot of money on medical education over the years, we still have one deficiency, one big deficiency. And this year's budget includes the funding for 400 new residency slots in hospitals across this state. And we're working actively to have those hospitals up and going to be able to accommodate those residency positions. In order to address the need for future medical personnel in our state, we have to invest in this expansion. We've invested in undergraduate education. Now's the time for us to increase our graduate residency slots, because we know that if we do not have those residency slots, those who have been educated from kindergarten through our colleges and through our medical schools have to leave our state to do their residency. Unfortunately, many of them never return. My goal is to have a state in which no doctor has to leave our state in order to do their residency, but they can find a position in order to do that right here within the great state of Georgia. Because we know that if they leave, sometimes they don't come back. We believe that expanding this residency slot is just one of the future things that will help us to have the pipeline for the creation and the development and training of the kind of healthcare workforce that we need. Thank you so much, Dr. Aziz, for all that you do and your leadership. We look forward to continuing to work with you. that goal of having, whatever the new name is, as one of the top 50 medical schools in the United States is a worthwhile goal, it is a realistic goal, it is an achievable goal. And I pledge to you, you will have my support as we work together mutually to achieve that outstanding goal. And I thank you for the vision and the leadership that you provided to help us achieve that. And thanks to all of you for being a part of it. We have great days ahead. Thank you for having me here today.
I was about to need a doctor in the house there. I was losing my voice. Governor Deal, thank you for your generous comments about GHSU and our future. I do want to take this opportunity, however, in front of our colleagues and friends, to thank you for your support and vision. As you understand, this governor understands healthcare, understands health professions, understands higher education, and is truly a leader and a visionary in this regard. And that is unique, Governor. We want to begin thanks, as you heard, for the final planning for the construction of the Education Commons building, which was funded this past session with a $28 million general obligation bond, which leveraged extensive local and statewide philanthropic support to a level that we have not ever seen before. We thank the governor for his support as we create the second NCI-designated cancer center in Georgia, an effort that is enhanced by $5 million in annual funding that the governor has recommended and which the General Assembly appropriated. We also want to thank the governor as we make available our expertise to the Board of Regents as we build graduate medical education programs throughout the state of Georgia. It is imperative that our medical students and those of other schools stay in Georgia to serve Georgians. We want to thank the governor as he has supported the Georgia Research Alliance, who supports us as we grow our research and discovery enterprise. And finally, Governor, I would like to thank you for making available to the University System of Georgia the beautiful 17-acre tract of land on the riverfront in Augusta, Georgia, which will create a unique collaboration between the university and the city as we build our downtowns and our universities. Please accept our pledge to continue to provide focused stewardship of the state resources as we collaborate with multiple stakeholders to maximize our return on investment for the people of Georgia. And we trust that our determined efforts to build an internationally ranked, top-tier university and academic health center will make you and our fellow citizens proud. Ladies and gentlemen, join me again in thanking the Governor Deal, the governor for his support of GHSU, for his interest in the life of our community, and most of all for traveling to Augusta today to join us. Thank you.